Okay, I'm starting with my medium value using the warmer colors. No, I'm using the cooler colors. And right now I'm just using a soft nylon brush. I like to put a lot of color in the nose, like the tip of the nose area. Now going in with some of the cooler colors over on the lighter side, the highlighted side. Okay, going in with the darker, fleshier colors. Putting that shadow in the nostrils. Yeah, I just added a little bit of the alizarin crimson to that mixture. Yeah, the nose I think is the most challenging because there's so much to the nose. There's so many different values. There's so many different planes, subtle planes, extreme planes. So you can see how I just dab. I dab colors here and there. There's not a lot of sweeping strokes that I'm doing. In the dabbing, it just starts, it gives the surface kind of a sticky consistency, and so then the paint is just, it kind of just grabs. When you put the paint down, it just kind of grabs it. I try not to overblend, and when I want to do some blending, I just go in there with my fan brush and just kind of soften certain areas. But I try and work with as many different values as I can. So, because the values is what really makes something pop and work. See, I'm just dotting in little areas just to kind of fill in certain areas. And you can just see that you can just see the brush strokes. I always have a paper towel in my hand and probably 6 different brushes. You see, I'm just kind of blending everything in, just dabbing the color side by side. But you don't want to brush it into the other value, or else it's all going to start mixing and just give like a one, you know, it'll be flat. The values will start to all kind of run together. Yeah, you want that shadow right under the lower lip, because there's a plane there that goes up, and then before it turns into the chin, there's a plane right above that chin, right underneath the the lip. And a little bit of that purple mixture for the shadow on the nose, around the nostril area on the shadow side. Here, there's a sharp shadow there. It looks like I'm spending more time on the nose than anything else for some reason. Well, noses are difficult anyways, but this nose is giving me a challenge. I don't know if it's the substrate or what. It's funny. You can paint a painting and have everything just go really well, and then you feel like you have the formula, and then you'll do another painting, and it's almost like, how do I do that again? And then you have to learn it again. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand creativity and the process of making sometimes. I think we're just always on our toes. I know for me, I can never be complacent, ever. I can never take it for granted that I can just do this. Every time I go into my studio, it's a challenge. I mean, sometimes things go really smoothly and effortlessly, and that's always like a nice surprise. But I usually go in with the idea of, okay, well, what's going to happen today, and how's my mood, or my frame of mind, or my self-esteem, or any of those factors. How's that going to affect my painting? Because they all do. They just do. And so I think that's one of the cool things about creativity. It's life. You can really see where you're at when you're painting. I feel that way about yoga as well. When I do my yoga practice in the morning, I can always tell you know, where my frame of mind is, how my day is going to go, you know, and I can change that. But initially, you know, I can really see if I'm like in yoga, if my posture is good, if I have good balance, you know, if I'm focused, all those things come into hand. And it's the same thing with painting and creating art. It's the same thing. You can do it one day and you're doing everything right. You can do it another day and everything goes wrong. And so you keep wanting to go back and go back and go back. And, you know, just keep striving and competing against yourself. Don't compete against any other artist but yourself. That's the only one that you need to be concerned about. Because no one else can do what you do except you. And so don't try and do someone else's. You know, of course, when you're learning techniques, like I'm showing you some techniques, I'm showing you a color palette, but, you know, I don't expect you to paint like I do. You know, I think you're going to paint like you do. And you're going to take the videos and explore them and explore your brushes, all this stuff. I can give you some hints and some direction, but you know, I can't put the brush in your hand. I can't paint with your brush. You have to paint with your brush. So it's a guide, and that's how I learned too. I took classes with many different artists, and their approach, their style, their approach was just so incredible for them. And when I tried to duplicate it, it just wasn't the same. But it was a starting point. So that's what it is. It's a starting point. And so you start by taking the classes and learning from other teachers. And then you start to realize, okay, well, can I do it a different way, or what way would be better for me? And that's when you start really becoming an artist, is when you start looking and answering those questions and solving those problems. And that's really exciting. I know when I started working with acrylics, and I take these great portrait classes, they're doing acrylics and they're doing them really fast and everything looks really great. And I would use them and it was like everything dried so quickly. And, you know, I couldn't paint as fast as I could. And it was frustrating, so frustrating. And then I discovered open acrylics, which you get an extended time of drying. And that was my solution. That's what worked. I thought, okay, I can work with these open acrylics. I cannot work with regular acrylics. And so I started using the open, and then I was able to develop more and more. But I learned, you know, I had to go through the process of learning what I didn't like to do or what didn't work for me, and then finding the solution on my own. So these are not step-by-step videos that I put on here. They're just not. And, you know, I mean, you can stop and pause and paint along with me, but, you know, really it's really just, you know, just taking what I say, you know, watching and, you know, and practicing, and then just go inside and find your way, and take lots of classes from lots of different artists, lots of different styles, and maybe you'll take pick up one little thing from one person, another little thing from another person, until you are becoming you. And that's what's so exciting. So I'm about finished with this. I don't want it all completely finished, and that's just, I made that decision about my work, maybe like 8 months ago, that I don't have to finish a painting, that I like seeing some of the underpainting, and so that I made that decision. Okay, I like how this looks. I want to stop at this point because I like having some of the bones showing. And so that's what I'm doing. And maybe a year from now that'll change, but right now this is my way. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next month with a new video.